Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as 2LizForYou, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry, and I've been posting as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. I actually posted, I think, twice this week. Yes, definitely twice this week.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, look at me.
What'd you post?
I posted about that same Lapghan,
Which is right behind you.
which is behind me, because we now have the border. It's been washed. So they were washed before I put the border on, and it got rid of a lot
of the unevenness.
Good. But
Good.
the border was 8 rows of different grays.
Oh, that looks lovely.
Yeah. So this is now done.
Good.
Yes. And although we have someone who's saying, well, it's too soon to think of Christmas gifts.
Well, yes, if you're not making them.
Well, that was my point. Yes, it is early to be thinking of going and buying Christmas gifts, except the supply chain this year is not supposed to be good. So keep that in mind. But, as we all know, we're often wishing we could knit faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I have reached a point with the other thing that I'm really working very quickly on is that it hurts if I try to work quickly. It's a toy. And the toys, because they're going to be filled with fluff, they want to be rather tight.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to hurt after you've been working on it. So you look at it, and the amount of work could be done in a day. If you do it in a day, if I did it in a day, I couldn't use these hands for another 2 days. It just hurts that much. Because I'm almost fighting the yarn. The gauge is right, so it's meant to be tight to form that kind of tight fabric. So finish that. So I'm quite pleased. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I finished something.
Yay! Yes, you did.
I finished the baby sweater.
I like it. I like the pooling too.
Yeah, and actually it looks really good having come out of the washer and dryer. It did grow. It is super washed, so it'll shrink back up a little bit because it is still slightly wet. But I think it really evened out the stitches.
Yes.
You can now see that there's, it's not so much one color of stripe, like it's one column striped and one column solid. They both looked like it was just one contrast column and then one main color column. I think the sleeves have sort of evened out. They do still sort of have their little ridge from where I was magic looping them. But you know what? That's okay, because it ended up and it also ended up where they're kind of at the top and bottom of the sleeve. Good. So it worked out.
Help it.
Yeah. But I think it's really cute. I really like the pattern. It's the Bumble pattern by Tin Can Knits.
Well, Tin Can Knits has great patterns.
They do. And they're written so that almost anyone can, do them.
Yes. They became almost intuitive.
Yeah. So I'm really glad. She's obviously it's going to be a bit big on her now, which now makes me feel really good about finishing it. And I think she will always need help with these. I don't know if these sleeves will be an appropriate length. I think they will
push them up.
Yeah, I think they'll be push 'em up sleeves. But that's fine because who knows? Maybe she'll shock us and she'll have long arms
like you.
Yeah, I mean she's not related to me, so who knows? But yeah, so I figure I will get that probably out in the mail some point this week.
Very nice.
Get that off my list.
Okay.
What else did you finish this week?
I didn't finish anything else this week.
What'd you work on this week then?
I worked on, I'll show you the toy that I have been working on. This is ears. It's in here. There it is. Whoop. This is what happens when I put two projects in together. Oh, you know what? I think I left the doghouse downstairs. Well, crumb.
The main part downstairs.
This is now caught up. Never mix two projects. Because now it's all caught up in this. There we go. Yes. Do you want to hold the fort while I go get the doghouse? Because the doghouse is really cute.
Sure. Go get the doghouse. So I So, as I said, I finished that, and I finished that sweater on Friday, and I then immediately cast on something else, which is very exciting. Hold on, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. I'm not. I totally missed a stitch. So let me tank back while we are on this call. That was upsetting. Okay, so there we go. So I have cast on another Tin Can Knits pattern. Also a kids, well, it's an all sizes pattern. They go from toddler to big, to I think 4XL. But it is the Chromatic sweater with a chromatic top. It has a lace detail. I had swatched for it this summer, and I have two colors of this yarn. It's a cotton chain ply, or I think, sort of. It's really lovely, actually, to work with. And it's this beautiful little lace detail, and then the sleeves are garter stitch striped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep knitting the body in the blue, and then I'm going to knit the sleeves striped, because I have 2 balls of the blue and 1 ball of the green. And so that's what I think I'm going to do for now. And then I will throw it in the washer and dryer and essentially block it and gift it. So I am plugging away on my little people knits.
Very nice. The
that
shawl
need to get
really
done.
got you moving.
Yeah.
This is the beginning
of a Topsy Turvy.
Of a Topsy Turvy toy. So it says Rosie because the child's mother had a dog in her childhood by the name of Rosie. And what's in, so it comes like this, and then you flip it, and what will show up will be the dog from the doghouse. So I've got the body, and what was on these needles, some here, is the head. So I need to, actually, I'm pretty close, maybe another row. You need 1 inch at the full width of the head. And then you start decreasing again. You fill it with fluff. And then you attach it to the body. So it's not like the Susan B. Anderson toys where they're made.
Is it Topsy Turvy Susan B. Anderson?
Well, but
it's not like the traditional stuffed toys.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, right now, when she makes a toy, she has you put a pearl ridge so that it's easy to know where to pick up for the ear, where to pick up for the arms, all this other kind of stuff. This must have been written before.
This was, yes.
So there is no instructions about where to put paws because there has been no instruction about where to put a pearl ridge. So from the dog that I did, that, Olivia the pig had all kinds of little pearl ridges, which is where you put the ears on, which is where you put the arms on.
I thought Waffles did too.
Well, that's
the puppy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they both had ridges. This does not. So the head just comes on here. There's an instruction about these are supposed to be done on double-pointed needles. Well, double-pointed needles, I tend to drop them all over the place. Yep. Whatever needle I'm not working with falls out. So I'm working magic loop.
Especially the far one. I find it's like you're working with one, you have one over here, and it's this one that always is like, bloop. And then you hear it go, clink, on the floor.
And then, of course, all those stitches are live.
Yeah.
So this... It looks a little strange now. It looks like it's turned to a beanie. But this will be a dog with the head on top here. And I think it's 2 front paws here, a tail out the back, and obviously embroidered face on the front of the dog. So I am really pleased. I think the embroidery for Rosie turned out pretty well.
It did. It's legible, which is great.
It's, and it's really personalized. So her birthday, the baby the child, who this is aimed for. This is not a Christmas gift. This is a birthday gift. And her birthday is later this month, the 28th or something.
21st.
Well, in a week. So anyway, we're taking it when we take over the baby gifts because we're going to go see her brother and her. Go see her. Yes, see her and her mother this week on Wednesday. So we get to see Aiden, and we get to see Chloe. So as I'm working, this is
my jealous face.
So this was showing my beginning of round. And it will also make sure that I'm putting the dog's front face where the front of the doghouse is.
Good.
Just for symmetry. I don't think it really matters because once it's inside, no one's going to remember where the front of the doghouse is. But they do make up fairly quickly. I'll be making at least 2 more toys for Christmas. Also included in the Christmas presents are those slippers that I had gotten. So I think we will be covered once I make at least 2 more toys. So this is moving along. I had the box of Lion Brand acrylic that I bought. They were $5 a ball.
Nice.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
Lion Brand has been doing some amazing discounts. So if acrylic's your jam, you can really get some good pricing on the Lion Brand. And into the washer, into the dryer, and you're good. So that I have been working on. I'm not going to put that back. I'm going to keep that separate now. I don't need it caught up in what was going on. What else do you have to report on?
I did not find a red appropriate for my Stephen West shawl in my stash, so I might have to purchase. What?
There may be some in my excess.
Okay, I'll take a look.
In the center section.
I see maybe one. Do we think that's fingering or do we think that's DK?
I think that may be DK.
These both might be DK.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll
There's
take
something up there, but that may be...
That looks like it's a linen or a silk.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I apparently don't have any bright reds, which is shocking because it's one of my favorite colors. But I just don't have any. So I will probably either go to my local yarn shop and get some, or I will order some from, a dyer or someone.
If you're going to use the one that I suggest,
yes.
You got to do it quickly.
I know.
So let me get a drink.
So I have not. I've been frogging that, when I get home. You should come by the apartment. The yarn closet is done.
I can't come by the apartment. You're taking my keys.
I know, but you can come by. I just mean
you
in
can
general.
Get more keys made up.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yes.
But the yarn closet is done for right now. It looks
there's
gorgeous.
Less yarn in the living room.
There's none. And there's the Papa San chair. It has not been attacked, but we have reorganized the yarn closet.
Okay,
which is
good.
great. Yeah,
good.
So it looks really good. I do have a box of Lion Brand acrylic and one sweater quantity of not acrylic that is I have it in one. I have it 2 sweaters quantity of the same color, but one is it's not from the same dyer, but it's essentially the same color. One is in a silk and merino and something else base, and one is in a wool base. So the wool base one
needs to go. What color is it?
It's a bright blue.
Oh, and what weight is it?
DK worsted.
All right, maybe
right.
I'd be interested. Yes, it needs to go.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's either going to you or it's going to Tanya, probably.
Papa San chair or what?
No, that's in the
yarn closet.
No, it's in the box that also has the Lion Brand, which I need to assess of if there are any small human projects that I am going to accomplish in the next very soon future that'll use that yarn, and if not, I'll probably end up donating a lot of it because a lot of it is not colors that I have a plan for right now, and I can always get more. And I've got a lot of Cascade 220 in my stash right now, and also a bunch of other, like, bits and bobs. Due to the fact that I am also trying to knit things for people and make sure that they'll at least enjoy them, the colors I'm getting, you know, the colors I have in stash that I'd be getting rid of aren't necessarily those colors.
Right.
So, you know, just taking a look at them, you know, doing an assessment was good. It was really good to get through all that stuff. I got rid of a lot of crunchy stuff.
Crunchy how?
It was like stiff.
Really?
There was a bunch of acrylic I had that was stiff.
Didn't age well.
No, did not age well at all.
Do we know from where you got it?
I don't remember. But it was not Lion Brand.
Okay.
That is what I do know. And also, I did get rid of one of the cones of stuff that we had gotten at a yard sale. Because it had become crunchy.
Okay.
And I was like...
And then it starts to break.
Yeah, and I know you had been thinking about it, or had, you know, it had at one point been on, you know, I want to weave fabric with this, and I was like, I don't want you weaving fabric with it because it's crunchy.
Break.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So, the yarn closet has been accomplished, which is really nice.
It is good.
And so I'm feeling really good about that. So that happened this week.
Okay.
What else happened this week? That sweater got done, which is exciting.
I have something I'm working on. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have another knitting
I didn't
project.
know whether you were off on a toot or not.
I mean, the yarn closet was a big deal.
It is a big deal. So this is my Stephen West, which apparently I just started another row. Sorry about that, folks. But I almost got through Clue 2.
Okay.
So Clue 2 goes from these loopies all the way up to here. And this is where you're doing short rows to make it into a rectangle rather than a semicircle. I had much more of this done. Except that I had picked up one of the two wrong colors, or I picked up one color that was not the one he specified, and he's very clear in that if you're going to use these colors out of order, try to mix them up so you're using them relatively the same amount. No, I just picked up one and I was just going with it. So I looked at it, I said, this was double. I mean, I was halfway to done on this part, and I looked at it, I said, that doesn't look right. This looks very wrong, as a matter of fact. And I frogged it. I frogged it down to, down to here, just above the baubles, and where the second color gets joined in above the very light gray, and then started again. Yes. I keep saying how excited I am about the colors I have chosen. This is something I will wear and use over and over again. Very, very pleased. I did find, one thing I did do was here where you're going down and knitting through the slip stitches from below. Well, I had my booster shot on Wednesday. Thursday, when I was working on this, I had a fever.
Oh, so, good.
Knitting fever brain, I made one long welt. I didn't go down through and pick it up. So I said, well, when I realized it, I said, well, I don't want to have to take the welt out to make this right. I can just drop that stitch down. Well, one of them didn't get dropped properly.
Oh.
So I obviously picked up one, or obviously the one I used to pick up the slip stitch was not the one that I should have, because I have a loose stitch, but I've saved it.
Good.
And I will just tack that in, and we will be fine.
Good.
But really, really very pleased. Trying to get this done. Well, get the toy done. Yeah. I think that's not a problem. And then get this done. Because I think if you lift up that needle work over there, you'll see that I Yes.
Ah, yes.
I said I was going to look for the book. Well, I found the book.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, that is the shawl that I am thinking of making for the church for February. I want to get the toy done. I'm going to get a lot more done on this. So this, we'll see how far I can get on this week. I'm not even going to think about my
artichoke French.
Thank you. Artichoke French. I want to call it asparagus. So my artichoke.
Also green.
Yeah, exactly. It's a vegetable and it begins with A. So once I finish the shawl, then I'm going to go digging in the packed yarn closet because I have enough yarn to do a second white one as well as a light blue one. I'm thinking of going with white first.
Yes.
And this is one of those shawls that it's enormous and it's warm. It's incredibly warm, considering how light the yarn is, that if you take off your wedding ring, you can get the entire shawl pulled through your wedding ring. So I think it would be a nice article to auction off at the church.
Yes.
I think that would go well. So anyway, I did locate the book. It really wasn't hard, believe it or not.
Nice.
So we'll shawl, dog, shawl, locate the yarn, then go back to make the last two toys, then start on the shawl. So we might be able to get this done by February. That's our goal. What day in February?
Mid-February.
Okay, so like Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Something like that. That's my goal. So we'll see how close I get to that. This, when I'm working on it, actually goes pretty fast. It's just I really have to pay attention as to which yarns I'm picking up. Because I have a tendency just to kind of
go,
dig in.
ooh, it's pretty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's that.
So I've been trucking away at doing the black parts of the Cryptid Stitch Along. Yes, I know I'm still only on week 4, and we are on, like...
Week 11?
Something like that. Maybe 12 or 13. That's okay.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Fine. It's getting done.
It's like the shawl. The shawl's done. Online.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
So I did all of the second stitch of this guy. I'm doing now, I finished the first stitches, so now I'm going back and doing the second stitches, and once I do that, I'll do the little dude who goes here for the Jersey Devil, has a lot of black in the image, so I'll do that, and then I'll go back and I'll finish up over here. I'll do some details over here, and then I'll go in and do the colored details here, and then I will move the frame down.
Sounds good.
So I'm hoping this week that I can get a good amount done on it, but I am also trucking along on this, you know, knit project. I'm shocked. I mean, I only cast this on Friday, and I'm already here.
It's beautiful. I really like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'll have to take a look and see how fast. I mean, it's going pretty fast. I mean, lace tends to go pretty fast.
Lace and little kids.
Yeah, little kids. It helps.
Which is nice.
Yeah. So.
And that'll be another one marked off your list. So then you have, what, 2 more?
Technically 4 more. 2 more families.
Okay.
And then our own littles.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to keep count for you then.
No. Our own littles can get it whenever, because
right.
I know how big they are.
Right. We ready for mail call?
I was going to say, we both got mail.
We did. Yeah, I should open this up because that card
is covering what you want to look at.
It's covering what I want to look at.
Is it open?
I can't find where it opens.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so at Rhinebeck, I hope we saved one. Well, we can look online as to who the vendors were.
Yeah.
There was a booth that was selling fleeces, skins, fleeces, fleece attached to the skin. Pelts, that's the word. And it would be perfect for making a hat. Now, when I ball my hair up and put it in a bun in the back, which is one of the best ways to keep it under control and to avoid hat hair, my hair, there's so much of it that it wasn't fitting in the hats. And so the hats were, you try a hat on, it was sitting up here someplace rather than coming down. And I said, you know, not only that, I don't want a winter hat like above my ears. I really would like some part of it covering my ears. So I was talking to the guy and I said, I really want to get a pattern or make a pattern for the hat. So this is one of, I think, 3 or 4 patterns that I bought last week. But you can see that they've got a pattern for an earmuff type of thing. And then they've got these patterns for hats. So what I'm thinking of doing is mocking up, I think, D and E, D/E, and then looking to attach this fur trim to it so that it's a tie-on hat rather than a flop-off hat, and that tie-on part could cover my ears. So I certainly could knit hats. I have knitted, I don't know how many hats. I have a hat that's attached to a shawl that I don't lose, but it flattens my head and I end up looking like
your grandmother.
I do. Not a look, I mean, love the woman, not a look I really want to replicate.
Yeah.
So this is one of the patterns, and I am very excited about the fact that it has this part that really is kind of finishing the look that I want. So
nice.
I'm waiting for the others to come in, and then we'll mock it up in some really heavy fabric if I can find.
Well, and I was gonna say we can also order some like faux fur.
We could
to mock it up in.
To get that.
See what's on set. We could see we could start scouring Mood, seeing when they have sales on things,
because you want something very stiff. And
they'll probably start having sales on that kind of stuff because it's getting cold.
To mimic what the leather or the sheep pelt would be like.
Yeah.
And then my first Advent calendar came from Asylum Fibers, and included was a sheet that tells exactly what the names of the yarns are that are in the calendar. But since I'm not opening it up, there's just names. Now there's a couple, like Ruby Slippers, that I'm guessing has some red in it. But exactly how much red, I don't know. So it's based on The Wizard of Oz, and I'm very excited about it. But in addition, there is a really cute
stitch marker of a little witch.
Yes. Appropriately green-faced. So it's really
Elphaba.
cute. Yes. There we go. It's a there,
it's
really cute face. So that all came. As you may know, I went from having no Advent calendars to I think 3.
Yeah. I don't remember what the third one is.
I have at least 2.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure you have 3.
Miss Babs was, we all know how good Miss Babs is. In fact, that's what I'm making my artichoke French in, is Miss Babs. So this came. Yeah. I will use all the stitch markers that come out of the excess packaging. That's not, in my mind, part of the Advent calendar. No. So
I got, and I gave you part of it already.
Yes, you did.
I got a bunch of stuff from Shelly Can. So I got some This Is My Rhinebeck Sweater labels to put in the backs of sweaters. They're both sets of 5. Both of them are sets of 5 if you would like one. And then I got 2 Wool Witch needle minders.
Yes.
And I gave one to Mom already, and she has put it on her cross stitch downstairs.
Yes. Which is not lost. The thing that is lost is the coat that I took apart and was embroidering. Yes. So the see-through bag that the Lapghan yarn was in, that yarn is going up in the shelving, and then I'm going to be putting together that coat embroidery project so that when I find the piece that I put in a very safe place, I can see it.
Okay, good.
I have a real problem when I clean up. And that's what happened is I cleaned up because we were at one point, we almost sold the house this summer because we almost bought a house this summer. But that house didn't pass inspection.
No.
So we didn't sell this house, but I had to clean up for the real estate agents to come in and give up their estimates, etc. And in the cleaning, I have lost that one piece.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll find it. It's here.
It's here somewhere.
Anything else? Yes. Oh,
yes.
I just wanted to know whether we got
I think we've gotten to that point.
Okay. The Vogue Knitting Magazine.
Vogue Knitting Magazine with Michelle Obama as our cover girl.
This is my jam. It is cables.
The article on with Michelle Obama, the interview is lovely. It was done by, I believe, a 14-year-old.
Just so cute.
And it's very good. There's a really cute I think it's about color work by Meg Swanson. Is her article.
Well, let's go through it.
Okay, so we'll start at the beginning.
So moving the needle, we have a bunch of different products that they think are just fabulous. This is cochineal, so it's insect shells. This is where we get our red from. You grind that up, you pound them up, and you mix it, and then you soak your yarn in it, and you can make your own red yarn.
Yeah.
And it's what they've been using for eons and eons and eons. And then this is a backpack 6. This is Knitter's Backpack of Sturdy Water Repellent Cotton Duck.
From Ritual Dyes.
And that looks fascinating to me.
It's lovely. I've seen them in person.
Oh, have
It's
you?
like a bucket. It's just a bucket bag with, a really ingenious strap, built into it.
And then this is 8 and 9. 9 is a indigo dyed pin cushion, but 8 is a kit of indigo to make your own indigo dye. So I thought that was really cute. Then Shirley Payton has been an excellent designer of really intricate knits, and this is a coat that she's got in her book called Duets, and I just think it's stunning. I love that. Well, because it's lace, and lace and cables just catches my eye. This is something that's interesting. I would not do it because it's insects.
Yes.
And so they're doing red with white highlights on one side and white with red highlights on the other.
And that's the Meg Swanson article.
Armenian insects.
Yes. And it's about intarsia in the round, I believe.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes. Both colors are carried throughout, even through solid unpatterned sections. And
so I think it's more like I think she's describing the jacquard.
It's very possible.
But it's Armenian knitting, both yarns. Yeah, so Armenian knitting is, I remember I read it while I was tired on Friday, and I believe it was very similar to jacquard floats in a way.
Yes. And it's, if any of you have seen that black sweater with the white bow in it, this is how it was done. It was not where they left the yarn there to do back and forth. They actually carried that white all through the sweater. And it's certainly one way of doing that kind of keeping the yarn there while you're knitting in the round. Sockmatician had figured out another way of doing it where he knit back and forth and then carried on. So he knit this way and then that way on the color and then somehow carried the yarn across and did it that way so that he didn't have to carry the whole thing across. The other way of doing that is doing a double knitting.
Yeah.
Which would make it stretchier. And you'd have the exact opposite on the other side, whatever the other side is.
Yeah.
So it is, I mean, just when you get to, page 15, you've got some interesting, then there's dealing with pests that eat your projects. What they like are human smells, human odors. So if you wash your knits before you put them away, and then what I do is I not only wash them, but I put them in the large Ziploc bags. I bought 2-gallon Ziploc bags that I could put entire sweaters quantity in and use that to organize my projects. The only problem is that with these kinds of shelves, those Ziploc bags actually come shooting out at you.
Yeah.
They don't grip to themselves like the yarn does. The yarn I can keep stuffing in, pushing down, stuffing in, pushing down, stuffing in.
Yeah.
The Ziploc bags, when I do that, they go and something else shoots out from below. So they're good for my problem not knowing where something is unless I can see it. Not good for being able to place as much stuff in those shelves as possible. So then, here is the Michelle Obama article and the author. And I thought the questions that were asked were really good. Yeah. Apparently, Mrs. Obama learned to knit during the pandemic.
We all understand. We all took to our knitting as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
And actually, someone at church pulled me aside and was saying if they had not been, they were planning on moving, given that they they were being caretaker. And so they're now going to be moving to Florida, and they'd been thinking about learning to knit, and we're going to ask us, some pointers.
Oh, okay.
And so I had suggested once they move that, he find a local knitting shop down there and inquire about getting private lessons. Because he had tried to teach himself from YouTube, and that just wasn't working. So I said, if you want to look up here, I know of a few places, and I gave him the name of Knit, and and he was like, yeah, well, I'm going to be moving in like January, February. And I was like, okay, well, I know it's very stressful right now. Why don't you plan on finding a place down there, and you can start this as your like new activity when you get there. And, you can always refresh yourself with YouTube once you've had, the in-person lesson. He was like, that is a great tip. I knew talking to you all would, be helpful.
And he's so sweet.
So
I'm sorry
sweet.
we're going to miss him.
I know, but I think it'll be better for him.
Yes, this is the article about cochineal.
Oh, very
and
cool. It's beautiful. I mean, the photos are beautiful.
Absolutely. Zapotec, I think this is Mexico that they're talking about, but I certainly saw colors made with cochineal when I was in Peru. So that kind of dye artistry has been all through Central and South America, and I would imagine that there's some oranges and almost reds that we can get from some of the flowers and plants that we can grow up here, but nothing as bright as the cochineal. And then starts the patterns. This is the La Rhea. And
it's lovely.
This is a moving lace, so it's not really. It mixes cables and lace, and I really love it. The next is a cabled hat. Very nice. That is the Draganier. Drangarnier. Yes. You'll see it. This. Sipapoo.
This is something that Mother has fallen in love with.
Look at this. This is stunning. I love
the back detail. The back detail kills me. It's just
fantastic.
And I know we're not a big fan of the drop shoulder here. I think it works really well with the pattern. I think it's really clever because I don't know if you could do this same sort of detail without having I don't know. I think you need the massiveness of the seed stitch the way it is. It's beautiful.
That's absolutely gorgeous. Then we have the Aloba cable cowl. Just stunning. Someone you love and will wear your wools. That's a great present to make them. Kalari. It's called Skeletal Cables Dance. Absolutely. Look at this. This is a little bit more balanced, a little more Palladian than the previous sweater. And just stunning. So different cables on the sleeve than on the front, but such an eye catcher. And what a piece of work. Absolutely gorgeous. Now this, I could see as an over sweater with that deep V-neck. Otherwise, I might again convert that to more of a cowl neck. Because
I don't know.
up here, winter's cold.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is absolutely gorgeous. Then we come into a shawl,
which is also beautiful. The cables.
Zion Juren. I don't know what to do with X's, but it is, again, stunning cables. Oh. But
this is just
colorwork people, and this was kind of off of the article that Meg Swanson wrote, or she was told about this and wrote the article. Malachite. Look at that.
It's just fun, and if you have a friend or a loved one who's an entomologist, or is into insects, or just has that aesthetic, I think it's beautiful, and I think it would be fun to knit.
I think you could also make this into a kid's sweater. You could take a kid's sweater pattern and take one of these motifs, maybe the ladybugs on the rock, or maybe the bird of paradise flower with the bugs, or something. Take one of them and put them in the child's sweater, and I think they would find it adorable.
Yeah, or you. I mean,
so there's this, there's this, so there's different.
I'm just trying to figure out if it's a worsted or a fingering weight, because if it's a worsted weight, you could also just use fingering weight and use it for kids. But these are also great in that respect. I mean, I just love it. It's
June,
so fun.
I guess, has a June bug on it, and then the cable one is a ladybug. So June bug, look at the use of that color. So cute.
Yeah.
Would I wear it? No, because I don't like bugs. And then this is Wilson that has a ladybug on the front. Now, I might do that because it's not as a stand in your face as what it is, so that I wouldn't have to think about it when I put it on. And it's cables, so I can,
yeah.
Okay, cables. Scarab. Now, I'm not sure exactly how the scarab is seen in this, but it is lace, and I think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And I could see making a dress out of that.
Yeah.
I've got that yarn over there that I think would be really pretty as a dress in this, so mark that on your calendar. And then we've got Hercules, which are beetles.
This is so cute. I think it is so cute. Could be great for kids. Could be great for
I think so.
An outdoorsy person in your life.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so cute.
It is great. Can you tell we've been through this?
Yeah.
Here's a shawl called Chafer, and it's hopscotch, and in different squares you've got beetles.
Yeah.
Beetles or ladybugs, I'm not sure. For me, I would make it without the beetles, but
which you can.
I'm not a beetles person, or I might put something else in there, maybe a fish. Fish I'm okay with. And
I love this.
Some people wouldn't be good with fish. Well, this reminds me of the
jacket you did.
The jacket I made. So we have a brioche.
It's so pretty.
Cardigan. It's called Atlas. Look at that brioche. It would be warm. Let me tell you, it would be very warm, and it is stunning. As I said, it reminds me very much of the jacket I made. Then they have Nature's Patterns. This is Textures and Shapes inspired by Zoology. This is the Solana, which apparently was inspired by cactus.
Okay.
I guess the texture.
With the columns and it's a broken rib, so that makes sense.
Yes. And then we have Escondido, which is baubles.
Oh yes.
It looks very pretty there. I'm not a bauble lover.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yes, I put the baubles on my shawl, but I was.
They can be uncomfortable if you're sitting with them on you, but also they are uncomfortable to knit.
They can be. They very much can be. This is the Bostonia. I think this is very light and easy. Something to throw on. I think it was a great weekend sweater.
Yes.
Really nice. This is interesting.
Fun.
Carlsbad. Look at the patterning on the sleeves.
I kind of really love it.
I'm not quite sure it's not brioche, but you could do it brioche.
Yeah.
And really make that pattern stand out.
Yeah, but I think it's just lovely.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So this is Carlsbad.
Yep.
With that. Then Borrego. This is a shawl. And it's a fan?
Feather and fan?
Feather and fan-ish type of pattern. And made with a really striking multicolored, it's 2 shades of a multicolored yarn. And it really brings into focus some really Native American colors, as well as the colors of the canyons. Really pretty. This sweater, when I'm thinking of advent calendars, this thing hit my brain. Oceanside, look at this. It would be a wonderful way to use up some of those minis.
Especially ingredient sets?
Yes, absolutely. So it's longish, which I like. Long sleeve because we're heading into that kind of season. And I think that would be really good. Then there is, for new knitters, there is a section on making mittens.
By Mary Jane Mucklestone. Which I thought was really interesting because it also, for those of us who knit a bunch, it was really interesting to read the little detail on the blow up of the photo, just detailing the different parts of a mitten. So I thought that was interesting.
Absolutely. And so it's a really well written article, and then it goes into the pattern. So that was a great piece of mail that was received. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, I don't have any ends to weave in until I finish the dog.
I already wove in my ends.
And then I will be weaving in, but let's say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.